Okay, so recently I was at work and I was in a situation where basically someone was saying something really negative about me and it got back to me. And I was actually quite shocked that this person would say this because I know this person and I just thought we had a really good working relationship and I just did not see this coming. And instantly I went to the basement. I was angry. I was shocked. I was like, I have to talk to this person right away. Like, I went into reactive mode. Like, where is this person? I'm going to find them. I'm going to confront them because that's my personality. I do not like having unresolved conflict with people. And sometimes we perceive we have conflict with people and we don't. So I've had to learn this about myself. But let me tell you, my neurons go right to conflict resolution. Like, okay, this person said this, I'm going to go talk to them about it. I actually love it when people talk to me about things instead of talking about me. So it triggered me, right? Because instead of the person coming to me, they were talking about me. And so I had this whole narrative, right? Has this ever happened to you? Am I just, sharing something that you're probably like, what? Maybe you're not a conflict resolution person. Maybe you are a conflict avoidant, and that's not me. So maybe you're like, ew, why would you do that? But I really honestly was on my way to confront this person and I got distracted. I actually got like sidebarred about a separate situation, couldn't get to the person. They had left for the day. It was all like up in the air. And then I went home and guess what happened? I got it some sleep. I woke up the next morning and had my morning time, prayed, meditated, did my normal thing on my way to work, thinking about positive intent, doing my stuff. And then I thought, wait a minute, I heard this from one person. I created a whole narrative. The reason this is really bothering me is because I'm having a hard time picturing this person saying that. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they said something similar that was extracted or interpreted wrong. Maybe they were having a bad day and they said a comment about me that they would not have said if the situation was different. Maybe they never said it. And honestly, the only thing that happened was sleeping. It was like 7 hours of good sleep. So I'm being honest. I wish I could say 8, but I never get 8 hours. I always get 7 or 6. I know it's something I'm working on. But I'm saying this story. I'm opening with this story because what happened was actually really could have been embarrassing. I found this person. I approached this person with a totally different approach and attitude than I had planned on doing the day before. I walked in, I was like calm. My nervous system was calm. I wasn't revved up. I wasn't like in a bad place. And I just said, I heard something and I just have to tell you because it's just weird to me. Because that's the truth. It was weird to me. And they were like, what are you talking about? We don't even know what you're talking about. The only thing that I maybe have said that could have been misinterpreted, and they were like, thank you. Thank you for telling me because I would never say something like this about you. I've never seen this in you. And that's just not who I am. And I was like, oh my gosh, this was what I call a near miss. Okay. It was a near miss. I was triggered by a comment. I instantly went into react mode. I instantly went to talk to this person. And even though my intention was good, like talking to them instead of talking about them, I mean, that was a much better decision than talking about the person, slamming the person, deciding I'm never going to talk to this person again, blah, 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 right? Gossiping about them. I was going to go directly to them, but my energy was off. It was totally different. And it would have been a different outcome. All this to say, sometimes we got to learn by failure. We got to learn through previous mistakes that waiting is always a positive thing. It's always a positive thing. Waiting to respond to someone, waiting to write the email, waiting to write the text, waiting to confront someone, not waiting forever. I'm not saying waiting and putting it off because you don't want to do it. I'm saying waiting until you are in a positive mind space, until you are not reactive, is always the right decision. Wait until you're not reactive. until you can like see the best in that person, even if they're your enemy. We're going to be talking about this at the Brave Enough conference. Are you going to show up? Have you ever come to the Brave Enough conference? If you haven't, this is your year. What are you waiting for? I want you there because this is the kind of teaching we talk about. It's real life. It's women sharing real life stories. I'm going to be sharing a lot of stories from this year that I only talk about in the room at the conference. It's stuff that is private. It's stuff that's personal. But it's also stuff that I feel like if I'm going through it, other women are probably going through it. And I want to be that authentic, transparent colleague who shares. I don't want to be this person who acts like she's up on this pedestal and she's got a podcast and a couple books and I got all the answers. No, I don't have all the answers, but I'm going to be talking about what I've been learning this year at the Brave Enough conference. It's in September. I really, really want you to be there. It's at a beautiful resort. And if you just need a little weekend getaway, let me tell you, book it. You deserve it. You need it. Go there now. Sign up. This whole season, we have been talking about taking risks and taking big leaps and really being brave and courageous and what that means and why we should do it. And I want to do this season because I coach so many women that tell me, I'll say, what do you do? Why do you want coaching? Like, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your career. Where are you in life? Tell me about your personal life. And there's just this disconnect. There's a disconnect between what they're doing and where they put their energy and what they really want to be doing. And, everyone just expects us to just march along the path and like, oh, this is what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm a doctor. I'm a lawyer. I'm a teacher. I work part-time. I don't take leadership roles because it's stressful, or I don't do this, so therefore I do this. This is what we do. We become this narrative that everyone else expects of us, and we never actually do that special thing inside of us that we're being called to do. So many women I coach have this. I have this. I am happy to say that the next year is going to look very different for me. I'm making major life changes in my career and in how I live my life, and they're baby steps. They're really baby steps that are being built for something bigger. And oh my gosh, have I been terrified? I mean, I'm taking risks. Like, I'm taking big risks where I'm putting a lot on the line. And if you are in my inner circle, you know what that means. You know what those are. I can't wait to share this year what those are going to be with all of you on the podcast. But I'm telling you right now, I have been almost scared every day for the last year and a half while I'm making these baby steps in these plans. I wake up with a pit in my stomach of fear. And that's how I know I'm doing the right thing, because I'm redefining what it is that real risk is and what comes next for myself. I'm throwing away the manual. I'm throwing away what everyone else is doing. I've gotten to this point as a coach and as a business owner. I've been doing this now for 8 years. I've been in this space for, almost 9 years. And it's always the next thing. It's like now women are coming to me saying, well, now you should do this. Or my people in this business with me are like, oh, now you should do this. Are you going to do this next thing? And I got to be totally honest. What's looking next for me is looking like, I don't know anybody in this space that's going to be doing what I'm doing next. I don't know a single human. That's terrifying because it's radically different. And I'm scared, you guys. I'm terrified. I've said no to the next path of some things that would have been the next best thing for me, and I think would have been more accepting. This is real risk and real fear that I'm walking through. And I want to share today what that looks like for me and what this has looked like for the last couple years. Number one, I want to talk about failure as part of success and how much that sucks, but it's got to be there. It has to be there. So the first point is failure is not the opposite of success. It is not the opposite of success. It is actually part of success. If you don't believe that, you do not know, you're not taking big enough risks. You're living in the safety world, okay? You are literally never driving. You're never reaching max speed. You're just not. You're not actually reaching your potential. If your risks don't scare you, if you're not doing what you know you should be doing, regardless of what everyone is telling you, you're not really meeting your full potential. And I don't say that to tell you like, you got to quit your job and you got to do this radical thing. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying there's something in you and you're listening, you know what it is. Only you know what it is. And it could be a hobby. It could be a life change. It could be a location change. It could be some creative part of you that wants to do something that doesn't really make sense to everybody around you, but you know that it's what you want to do. If that feels terrifying, and if you're not really following that or living that, you're not reaching your full potential. And I just see so many women wasting their time and energy because they're afraid to fail. They're so afraid to fail because they don't realize that failure is such a part of success. And part of that is from the perfectionism that is embedded in our medical training and professional culture. That's just comes with the territory. We do not fail in medicine because if we fail, we are taught people get hurt. And so we will avoid failure at all costs, even in our personal life when we should be taking some risks on what we're doing and where we're putting our energy. I have told you a lot of times that I started Brave Enough and I had a website built for 10 months before I would hit publish. I was so afraid of it being not a good website and it being imperfect. And I would go to all these other women's websites and I would see how beautiful they were. And oh my gosh, they added this. And oh my gosh, they have testimonies. I don't have testimonies. Oh my gosh, they have this. And I just wasted a year. And it was a big turning point for me when someone actually said to me, you have perfection paralysis. I was like, what? They're like, first of all, you think that you're going to hit publish and your website's going to be the best website? It's not. You're starting out. Why do you think your website's going to be amazing or it should be amazing? Just stop. Get out of your own way. And, it's very normal to feel like we shouldn't do something till we really know what we're doing. We have to normalize that risk is required for growth and that failure is the tuition for wisdom. Like you want to get wise, start failing. You want to get wise, start taking risks. The next thing that I want to put out there is that there's this fallout, right? Like we always think about what we fear, and then the truth is there's what actually happens. You have to actually fail and get in that emotional aftermath of failure, shame, silence, isolation. Those things are so important for you to experience, to walk through and come through and learn. And yet we're so afraid to fail because we don't want to feel shame. We don't want to feel silence. We don't want to isolate ourselves. And I'm not saying you should do all of those things. I'm saying that most successful people in life have failed at a point where they have felt shame, they have felt silenced, they have isolated themselves, and they've come out of it. I certainly have. I have. I did a really hard thing a few years ago, shutting down my Facebook group, and man, I got backlash, and man, I felt shame. Even though I did it, I thought I was doing like the most intentional, thoughtful way to do it. I still had some mess ups along the way, and it still was hard and painful for me. I'd do it again, but it was hard. And I felt like a failure. I was like, what have I done? Did I really make I'm taking this huge risk. Like, is anyone going to still follow me? Is anyone going to listen to my podcast? Am I going to have 0 followers? Am I going to have 0 people show up to this conference I'm putting on because I did this? Is everyone going to hate me? Like, this was risky, people. This was risk. I don't know anyone else in our space that has done that and accepted that risk. I hope someone else looks me up if they're thinking about it, because I want to be the person who helps other people walk through that. It was really, really hard. And I've definitely used that experience to coach some women who have had to walk through some hard things in life. I'm telling you, I learned so much from that. I didn't learn from the people who were messaging me saying, you are amazing. We love you. We're going to follow you and we respect you. I was energized by those people. And oh my gosh, I've saved all those responses in a little folder because I went to them on hard days. They got me through the hard days. But the truth is I didn't learn from that. What I learned from it was all the hardship, all the isolation, the shame that I felt. I had to learn a lot about myself to walk through that. And I did. I really learned a lot of great lessons from that. So oftentimes we overestimate the fallout or we overestimate our resilience, either way. Part of me was like, I can do this. It's going to be horrible, but I can get through it. I underestimated some difficulties, definitely. I also overestimated some things I thought were going to happen that didn't end up happening, and I was fine. So the point is that there's what you fear happening, and then there's what actually happens, and you cannot predict it. If you think you're going to predict every failure and have a landing cushion for every failure, you're not. You're not going to have a soft place every time you fail. Sometimes you're going to fall and you're going to get cut up and bruised and beaten and beat down, and you're going to be like, what did I just do? What did I just do? This sucks. And you got to go through those sucky times. They're worth it because what it produces is so much more than all the good times. If you're following people on social media or you're, at work and you're seeing these people who are just like killing it, let me tell you something right now. They're failing. They may not be showing it in their highlight reel, but they're failing. Successful people fail. Some successful people will tell you about it. Not everybody feels comfortable. I'm one that feels very comfortable in talking about my failures. I never want to not talk about them because I think it helps other women. And also because even talking about it is just helpful for me to remember like what I went through and how much I've learned. The next thing is the power of failing out loud, redefining vulnerability. I love this. I mean, Brene Brown is the queen of this. She's an expert in this topic. I'm not going to pretend to know as much as her. She has studied this scientifically. She's incredible. And if you want to learn about the power of vulnerability and the science behind it, if you're listening, you're like, I hear that, but I don't really believe it. Just look up her work. I mean, everyone sees her on television and doing videos and things, but the woman is a scientist. Like she has like legit research to show that the more vulnerable you are, the more successful you are in your relationships with people. And actually that's what human connection craves is vulnerability and how to redefine that as a leadership skill, which is a whole other topic. But what I want to talk about is sharing failure openly. And I give honestly, probably my most popular keynote, the one I get asked to give over and over and over and over. I've been giving this keynote now for 7 years and it will never die because everyone wants more of it, is how to fail forward and how to redefine failure and how to use failure and be really vulnerable and share your failure. And the point one of that keynote is your failure will only push you forward if you share it. If you hide it under a rock and relate it to shame and you have shame, standing guard over your failure, you're not learning much from that. In fact, it's going to limit you. It's going to stop you from taking on new things, meeting new people, stretching yourself. It's going to stop you from ever being vulnerable in your relationships with others when you hide that failure. But when you talk about it, it's a whole other thing, sisters. It's a whole other thing. You start really embracing that you're not perfect, that you're open to learning new things, that you invite feedback, that you invite that you're human and you're going to make mistakes. So you're not afraid to maybe reach out and start that relationship or do this business thing when you don't know it all. It also allows you to have more diverse relationships with people because you're not afraid that, I can't be friends with that person because what if I offend them? Well, you're going to offend people. You're going to hurt people that you love. That's failure, saying, I failed, I messed up. And being open with it is what improves us as people. And I can tell you that every year at the Brave Enough conference, and my team spends all year working on this conference, hours, hundreds of hours. I can't even tell you how many hours I put into this conference. And every year it gets to the point where I'm like, think to myself, is this worth it? Am I doing the right thing? Like, what am I doing? Is anyone going to show up? Are they going to come? I don't know. Man, I'm not sure. Every single year I get self-doubt. And there have been times where I have literally thought to myself, like, I don't know if I should even do the conference this year because I don't know. I haven't had the best year. I've made these mistakes. What if this person comes up to me at the conference and she's like, I know about you. I heard about this thing that happened at work and you did this thing that was bad. I mean, this is the kind of intellectual hijacking that takes over my amygdala at 3 a.m. It's like someone's going to come to the conference and they're going to be like, expose all your worst failures and it's going to just be a bust. And what I realized is the reason that I get triggered into thinking that way is because actually the conference is such a vulnerable thing for me. I'm standing up there, I'm sharing my real self, I'm sharing stories. So I'm really vulnerable on a stage with like my peers, with all of you. And because I'm so vulnerable, there's a lot of fear associated with that. And there's fear that I'm going to get rejected. And there's fear that I'm not going to be liked. And there's fear that I'm going to be booed off stage. Or there's fear that I'm going to say the wrong thing and it's going to go on Twitter or whatever it is. And that's just fear talking out loud. But when I lean into it and I actually say to our program committee and the women that helped me put it on, or I lean into my team and I say, gosh, I'm just really afraid this keynote isn't going to land, or I'm afraid that this year at the conference, I'm not going to really deliver what I know these women need and expect of me, and I know what they deserve. Or I say, like, I'm really afraid I want to tell this story, but I'm afraid, or I'm just afraid it's not going to go well. When I get like that, everybody responds so positively about the conference. And I just know if I'm vulnerable and open, even at the conference, it's going to be okay. So talking about our failure really does change the culture around you. And, I could say, well, I'm just going to manifest all positivity for this conference and it's going to be amazing. And I'm going to say that every day. But the truth is that it's risky and it's hard. And I don't always manifest positivity and I get afraid and I get scared. And I want to share that today because I think it's so important for people to know that, like, when you're doing something courageous or when you're doing something that is not typical, whatever it is, whether it's a conference or a new exercise regimen, or you're walking in a weighted vest, it's going to be like, wait, what are you doing? Is this normal? Are people going to look at me normal? Just share that. Share your vulnerabilities. And this is what's so cool. When we challenge the people around us to be the kind of colleague or leader who creates room for others to fail, when we talk about our failure with our kids and we say it's okay to fail, when we talk about our deepest fears and risks that we're taking with our partner, or we share with our parents or whoever is our support system, we create room for other people to fail without fear. There's probably a friend that you have that is struggling right now. Maybe she's struggling in her job. Maybe she's struggling in her marriage. And maybe she thinks that she knows what she needs to do. She's just afraid to do it. I find that's 95% of the women I coach. I don't need to tell them what to do. I don't tell them what to do in coaching. But I think sometimes people that hire me are coming to me thinking, oh my gosh, she's going to give me great advice and answers. And the truth of the matter is that 98% of women that I coach, they know what the answer is. They're not looking for me to tell them the answer. They are looking for affirmation and courage because they have fear to do the right thing. And man, that resonates with me. That resonates hugely with me. I'm afraid every day. I mean, really, truly, the last year and a half, I've been afraid every single day. Am I making the right decision? Am I making the right decision? Am I making this business decision? Am I going further in debt for a reason? Or should I be making this business decision? All of these things are just spiraling in my thoughts. So I want to share that with you because you may be listening and you're like, oh my gosh, this is me. I'm really facing this fear, Sasha, and I need the courage to make the right decision. You're going to inspire someone around you to also make a brave decision. You're giving permission when you share your vulnerabilities and you're like, I'm taking this risk. It may not work out. I need your support. I need your hype. I need your vision on this. I need your encouragement. When you share in that way, you are opening the door for the person on the other end to do some internal reflection and go, I have the same problem. different problem, but same thing I'm facing. I need to get brave. I need to let myself take a risk here. I need to follow that thing, that internal, whatever it is that's pushing me to do this thing that I'm afraid to do. That is mentorship. That is grace. That is creating cultures where learning is valued over looking flawless. I don't want to be the person on Instagram that looks flawless all the time. I don't want to be that. And obviously I'm not, because if you go to my Instagram page or you go to my LinkedIn, I'm constantly posting pictures of myself without makeup. My hair is whatever it is that day. I'm in a t-shirt. I don't care. Like, I would love to be someone that only posted when I looked 100%. But the truth is, I don't always look 100% and I'm busy. So I feel like I resonate with women like that. Like, I love when I go on social media and I see that a woman who's absolutely amazing and gorgeous is posting a video of just something that she wants everybody to hear, and she's doesn't have her lashes on. I'm like, oh, I love this person. She's vulnerable. She's taking risks in 2025. I'm feeling it. So let's be that woman for ourselves. And in that, let's be that woman for others. Let's be brave and take risks ourselves and give permission for the women in our life to see that and go, I'm taking a risk. I'm being brave. I love this message. I hope you love this season. Give me a shout out. Share this with a friend. You know you have a friend who's going through something right now and needs to hear this. Please send it to her. Send this podcast to her and give me a rating and review. I love it when y'all do that. And I love reading messages about the podcast. If you have not signed up for the Brave Enough conference, go to braveenoughconference.com. I'm telling you, it's in a couple months. You want to be there. And do you have my quirky, funny Friday newsletter? I'm pretty raw there. It's called The Scoop. If you want to read what I learn every week, or my favorite item of the week, or whatever my favorite food is that I'm digging on, just go to my webpage, becomebraveenough.com, and sign up for The Scoop, my weekly newsletter. And as always, live brave.